Here's what's coming up on Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris.
Today we're going to talk about building your financial house. And building your financial house is very much like building your own house.
And last week we talked about cost and risk. This week we're going to talk about Social Security, and this is a totally hot topic right now.
And David writes, I don't understand why the government is forcing me to take money out of my IRA when I don't need it.
David, thank you for your question, and that's a great question because I get that a lot in my office. And the truth of the matter is you've been putting that money in your 401k for years and years and years, and basically when you're 70 and a half, it's time to pay the piper. Now, the good news is that you don't have to take all that money out and pay taxes on it.
And now the host of Retirement Talk, Sandy Morris.
Welcome to the show today. We have 30 minutes worth of action-packed information designed specifically for you. So Retirement Talk starts right here, right now. Today we're going to talk about building your financial house. And building your financial house is very much like building your own house, in that when you start, you have a foundation. And the foundation stays no matter what happens up here. So when you're retired, what you want to do is you want to build a good, strong, solid foundation when it comes to your retirement income, so you make sure that you don't outlive your money or something doesn't happen and you end up 75 years of age or 80 years of age, full of life, and you have no money. So what you want to do when you build your financial house is you want to start with the foundation. Now, what goes here with your foundation are things that you know no matter what happens, it can't take this income away from you. So the first one is Social Security. That would be guaranteed income for life. And it also increases based on inflation. The next thing that would go here in your foundation would be your pension. Also in your foundation would be maybe your medical supplement insurance, maybe long-term care, and also maybe you have some life insurance. Another thing that would go down here, which is very, very important, if you have a gap between your pension income and your Social Security income, let's say you have $50,000 worth of pension income and Social Security income combined, but you need an extra $25,000 in income, you're going to want to make sure that $25,000 is guaranteed for life. So what you might have down here is some kind of annuity, like a hybrid annuity, that'll guarantee you income for life and not charge you all those fees. Now, the walls to your house, this is where you have extra things like you may put some mutual funds here for growth. You may have some bonds here if you have extra money. And this money, these investments that go here typically support your activities, like if you want to travel or if you have a hobby. These are extra, it gives you extra money. So if something happened and you lost the money in these accounts, or if there was volatility in these accounts, it's not going to upset your life. You're going to be able to pay your expenses. You're going to be able to live for the rest of your life and never have to worry about money. Now, what goes in the roof would be like maybe you've always wanted to invest in gold or precious metals, or maybe you have an art collection or cars or anything like that. So if you build your financial house like this and it's got a good rock solid foundation, there's no reason for you to really worry or have any worries, because if this is all taken away, this is left. So if you want more information, or you would like for us to put together your financial house to make sure that You don't ever run out of money. Please give our office a call or visit us on our website.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet with someone new. It's extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. Now, one way you can get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning, not someone who specializes in getting you to retirement, but someone who's dedicated to get you through your retirement. So if you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you'll receive a free, complete planning review. There's no obligation and there's no cost if you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement. Here's what you'll receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor's costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, a tax analysis to reduce the liability and increase your cash flow, and a custom income plan to boost your retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television. Okay, this is part 2 of a 3-part series. This is a fascinating report that you do in your office. It's called the Morris Report, and last week we talked about cost and risk. This week we're going to talk about Social Security, and this is a totally hot topic right now. There's a part of this report that talks about optimizing, right, Sandy, your Social Security. Tell me more about that.
I love talking about this. This is fabulous because I've not had anyone come in my office yet who knows what they're talking about when it comes to optimizing their Social Security. They think that if they wait a few years, they can make more money, because you can look on your statement and see what you can make when you're 62 and then 65 and then 70. But the truth of the matter is that if you're married, every dollar that you have paid in to Social Security, you paid in benefits for your spouse, not widow's benefits or widower's benefits. It's living spousal benefits. So if you elect to take those benefits in some cases and delay your own Social Security, most of the time, your Social Security can double for a couple. Literally, if it's $30,000, it's $60,000 or more in Social Security income. So people just look at their statements, and this is not on your statement, by the way. This is a report that has to be run for you to know this, and there's no way that you can just find this out from talking to anybody.
Really, because the government is so well run, I figured I'd go to a website.
Oh, what's surprising is that I've had people they come to me, they get this report, and then they go to the Social Security office and they sit down and they go, okay, we want to file a restricted application. I want to file for my Social Security. I want to suspend it. And they go, okay, but they never bother to tell anybody about this. And we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars
Yes.
that people leave on the table every day.
And you're
for
talking
couples,
about tens of thousands a year?
Yes, I'm talking about over $100,000 or more in additional lifetime income that people leave on the table because they don't know anything about it.
Let me ask you this, Steve. What do people got to do? I am out there right now, and I'm confused. What should I do?
Well, like Sandy said, the best thing to do is come see us and get the Social Security Optimization Report run, because it's going to show you all those different things that you can do. Like Sandy said, take spousal benefits and things like that. And there's so many different ways to do it.
They're called switch strategies. There's actually over 1,200 different switch strategies that you have to choose from. But I just make it easy. We just put all your earnings history, you and your spouse's earnings history in the computer, when you want to retire, or an estimated time when you want to retire, how much income that you're going to need when you retire, and in less time than it takes to eat a bowl of cereal, you can literally have your report there.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you another quick question here, because for some people, to delay it just a little bit can also have a significant impact. Is that correct?
It can have a significant impact, but I'm going to tell you, if this is so precise that it actually tells you what month, like 66 and 3 months, 68 and 2 months. I mean, it tells you down to the month of what form you need to file, when you need to file it, and
it's just amazing because you have people out there all the time that are wanting extra $1,000 or $500 a month in income just for play money, or sometimes it's just to pay your bills. And it's right there in front of you, but because nobody at the Social Security office bothered to tell you about it, how are you going to know about it?
So here's the big question. Are you ready? Steve, I want you to answer this one. I want to know more about this. I'm in the general public right now. How much is this going to cost me to get it done?
This doesn't cost you anything because it's part of the Morris Report.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So then why wouldn't somebody want to get more information about this? Because it seems like right now I'm listening to the radio. I watch television. I read the newspaper. Social Security is a hot topic right now.
Social Security is a hot topic because, I mean, over $50 billion goes left unclaimed almost every year.
50
Yes,
billion?
in Social Security benefits simply because people do not know how to get their money back out. It's like having a 401k sitting over there and you've put all this money into it all this time. Plus you've had your spouse put money into it and you just go, okay, I'll just take the cheap buyout. I'll take it early. But what people think is they can look at their report, they can look at their Social Security report, okay? And they go, I can decide when to take my Social Security. No, you can't, because the information that you need is not on that report. Only way you're going to get it is run it through the software. It spits it out in less than 3 minutes, and you now have your secret, your key to getting optimal Social Security benefits, what you've paid in since you were small.
All right, everybody. If you'd like to get more information about that, it's really simple. All you have to do is call that number on the screen right now, go to that website, and you got to definitely tune in next week because we're going to do part 3 of this series, The Morris Report. Stick around, everyone. You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's Retirement Television. You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's Retirement Television.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? Will you be able to play with me?
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. SandyMorrisFinancial.com.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's Retirement Television.
So Sandy, we got a lot of great questions this week. And if you want to send your question in, all you have to do is go to AskSandyMorris.tv. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. The first question is from David in Tampa. And David writes, I don't understand why the government is forcing me to take money out of my IRA when I don't need it, simply because I've reached a certain age. Why is this happening?
David, thank you for your question, and that's a great question because I get that a lot in my office. And the truth of the matter is you've been putting that money in your 401k for years and years and years, and basically when you're 70 and a half, it's time to pay the piper. Now, the good news is that you don't have to take all that money out and pay taxes on it. Typically, you take out right around 3.5% to 4% each year and just pay the taxes on that each year. So it's not quite as painful as you might think it would be, but yep, it's time to pay the piper. That's just what you have to do. Thank you for your question.
All right, Sandy. My next question is from Cyrus in Oldsmar. Cyrus writes, in a perfect world, I'd like to leave an inheritance to my children, but I'm concerned that I can't do that without pinching pennies throughout my retirement, which doesn't sound appealing. Is there a way to do both without being obscenely wealthy?
Yes, Cyrus, thank you so much for your question, and that's a very good question as well. This is a case-by-case basis that you have to go on, and it depends on how much that you want to leave them and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. But I would say if you want to leave your kids money or leave them some legacy or value, if you include that in your retirement plan when you first start your retirement plan, then the chances are that will increase your chances of being able to leave money to your children. Thank you for your question.
All right, my next question to you is from Paul in Bradenton. Paul writes, I've always believed that I should be debt-free once I retired. But with a 3.5% interest rate on my mortgage and a 0% interest rate on my car, I'm not in a big hurry to pay these things off before I retire in a few months. Thoughts?
Paul, thank you so much for your question. And there's really no right or wrong here. Logically and, economically, prudently, you probably could keep those and keep your payments and keep your debt because you're not paying a lot of interest. And if you're making more interest than you're paying, then you can use that as a deduction. But this comes down to basically a personal preference. If you've got the money to pay it off, you can always pay it off. But if you spend the money and you're going to be tight, well, then you might want to reconsider that. Thank you so much for your question.
All right, my final question for you today is from Michael in St. Pete. And he writes, I've been told that it's best to simply pay a flat fee for a financial plan instead of ongoing fees and commissions. I've also been told that you should never pay a fee for planning. So which is it?
Michael, thank you so much for your question. And that's a very good question, actually. And there's no right or wrong about this. The main thing that you need to know is what you're paying for, how much it's costing you, and are you getting the benefits from having someone help you, and is it worth what you're paying? So the bottom line is here. Find out what you're paying, exactly what you're paying, the dollar amount that you're paying, and if you feel like that advisor's doing a really good job, then you make that decision. Thank you for your question.
Sandy, thanks so much. And if you'd like to have your question answered by Sandy here on the show, it's super easy. Just go to AskSandyMorris.tv and put your question in. We look forward to answering your questions.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet with someone new. It's extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. Now, one way you can get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning, not someone who specializes in getting you to retirement, but someone who's dedicated to get you through your retirement. So if you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you'll receive a free, complete planning review. There's no obligation and there's no cost if you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement. Here's what you'll receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor's costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, a tax analysis to reduce the liability and increase your cash flow, and a custom income plan to boost your retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
I had an interesting week this week because this week in the office, I had a couple that came in, lovely couple, and they sat down and I asked them what I could do, and they said it was interesting that they were at the office at that point in time because they actually set an appointment to come in to see me like 2 years ago and then one time about 3 years ago. But for whatever reason, they didn't come in, they canceled their appointment, or they went out of town, or something happened that got them off track, and they just kept procrastinating and procrastinating. And I said, well, how can I help you now? And he said, well, I'm here now because I just got laid off from my job that I've been on for 20 years. And he said, I didn't see it coming. I didn't know that that was going to happen. And he said, it just caught us off guard. And I said, well, how can I help you? And he said, well, I just need to put everything together and figure out what I'm going to do for income now that I'm so-called retired. So long story short, it was a situation where I just felt completely helpless because there wasn't a lot that I could do because he was 66, his wife was 66. They had already taken their Social Security, started taking it before 65, and they had taken it for almost 2 years. They had their same investments and their accounts set up the same way they did about 3 years ago. They said they didn't have any changes in their account. And the third thing was there were some accounts that I could use for them if they had come 2 or 3 years ago versus now, because that account doesn't even exist anymore. So what ended up happening was
or what could have happened had they come to me 2 or even 3 years ago. Number one, we would have ran a Social Security optimizations report, and we could have gotten, he would have filed for his Social Security but suspended it, and she could have taken her spousal benefit, and she could as well taken her benefit. He could have been taking spousal benefit instead of his benefit, taking the full benefit and letting it delay. But we couldn't do that because they had already started taking their Social Security and been taking it for 2 years, so that option was out. If they had came in 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we probably would have completely rearranged or reallocated their portfolio because we would have taken advantage of the bond values being so high. So the value of their accounts would have been much larger than they are right now. And then the third thing was the money that we could have put in an annuity and gotten them a consistent lifetime income. That account paid out more than any annuity in the industry at that time. So in a nutshell, it ended up costing them almost $5,000, well, it was almost $4,000 a month that they would have been getting. That's a lot of money versus the money that they're getting now. So he's going to have to go back to work and get a part-time job. Interestingly enough, and ironic, that that night when I got home, I got a text from a client that had actually come to see me a year prior. And we laid out his whole retirement plan. He wanted to retire this coming year. And we laid out his whole retirement plan, got it all set up. And anytime I put together a retirement plan, I always make sure I have plan A, B, or C in case something happens and they do get laid off early or one of them gets sick or somebody gets hurt. But I got that text that night. He came in the next day, he was a little nervous. He goes, Sandy, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? And I said, all you do is open up your book, you pull out plan B, and that's what we implement. So that's what we did. He got there, we opened up the book, we said, this is plan B. And he read that and he goes, oh my God, I can't believe that this is that simple. So the point I'm trying to make here is if you don't have a retirement plan or you have not even looked into getting a plan put together, you need to do that because sometimes a matter of months or even a year can mean the difference of you having to go back to work or not having to go back to work.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. SandyMorrisFinancial.com.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
I want to take a minute and talk to you about how you find the right financial advisor and how to determine the difference between one that would work best for you versus one that might not work as well as far as retirement planning. So the first thing you need to look for if you want to make sure that someone has your best interests at heart and always does what's best for you is you want to work with someone who is fee-based. Typically, the name for that would either be a registered investment advisor or an investment advisor representative. They operate in a fiduciary capacity and they always have to work in what's best in your interest instead of maybe a good product for you to buy, which is what most brokers will do. So a registered investment advisor or an investment advisor representative. The next thing you want to look for is you want to make sure that when you pay them, that they're getting a percentage of your assets under management and they're not making money on trades. So you want to ask them that question. The third thing that you want to make sure is that they do not make commissions on the trades or you're not buying any type of product such as mutual funds and things like that. And then the third part you want to make sure is that they're not affiliated with any kind of broker-dealer. A broker-dealer is what we call in this industry more of a retail person. That's all of your years. You remember back when you would go into
maybe a financial planning firm or a brokerage house or a bank, and they would sell you mutual funds, or they would sell you stocks, or they would sell you different kinds of investments, and they would charge you for that. Typically, that's what's called a broker-dealer, and that's not someone that you want to work with when you're getting ready to retire, or you want to put together a financial plan for yourself. And then lastly, you want to make sure that there is a third-party custodian like Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, or Schwab that's actually holding your money, that they're not holding your money, that the third-party custodian is holding your money, that the registered investment advisor or the investment advisor representative is just managing your money, and it is a percentage of what you actually have under management. So let's recap this again. You want to make sure that it's a registered investment advisor or an investment advisor representative, and you can go on the SEC website and you can actually do research and check out whether they actually have this license. Second thing you want to do is make sure that you're paying a percentage of the money that you have them to manage, and that they're not making money on trades. And you can ask them that and ask them to know your percentage and how often it's taken out of your account. Thirdly, you want to make sure that they're not making money off of the trades, nor are they making money off of selling you product. Then the next thing you want to make sure is that they're not affiliated with a broker-dealer, and that they do have a third-party custodian that's actually holding your money and protecting your money, and making sure that it's insured, and like SIPC insured or something like that. So if you ask your person that you're working with these questions and you get these answers, then you should be in good hands.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
Remember when life was simpler? When things didn't move quite so fast, and the world didn't seem so complex? Remember that? We do. And as the world around us has continued to speed up, becoming more complicated, and still a bit uncertain, we have managed to keep things simple, providing sound, easy-to-understand financial advice and customized roadmaps for the road ahead, from tax reduction strategies, investment advice, and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, backed by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. We can be your single point of contact, a single call, a voice you recognize well, and a partner who can be by your side for the entire journey. We can't stop the world around us, but we can help ensure you're prepared for what's to come. To schedule a no-obligation meeting, simply contact us today.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
Well, thanks everyone for watching the show today. And if you have any questions, feel free to call our office or visit our website. And remember, you only retire once, so let's get it right the first time. We'll see you next week.